And lie down onto your back. Backs, plural, there's lots of you. All the way down. Plant your feet to the floor, rest the head back into the ground. Just bring the hands and place them on the belly. And then let your knees touch in so you're not having to hold the knees in space. Just let the knees rest inwards. Hands rest down. Shoulders pull back into the floor. Elbows heavy. So wherever you have contact with the ground, let your body really pour into that space. So you're not resisting gravity. You're not holding yourself away from the mat. You're just letting the weight of the body go down. We spend all day holding ourselves upright. Just totally let any effort go for the moment, for the time being. And all you want to do is focus on the breath. That's the only thing you're noticing or giving any thought to. Try not to change it or alter it too much yet. Just notice that inhale and exhale. And when you do give it attention, you'll notice even without too much effort, it slows down. The breath gets slightly longer. So easy with the breath. Heavy through the back of the body, relaxed through the hands, through the belly, relaxed across the shoulders. And now start to deepen the breath. So you want to encourage a bit more depth, more volume, a bigger breath. And as you do that, feel the body start to wake up a bit from the inside out. So it kind of starts to energize from the chest, from the center of the body. Expanding and reacting to the breath as well. So as you inhale, there's this sense of energy and lift. And then as you exhale, almost just a calming and a settling. Breathe in, allow things to rise and lift. And then breathe out, let them calm and settle. 3 more like that. So all the way in, all the way out. Observing the movement in the chest and in the belly beneath the hands. All the way in. All the way out. One more here. And then bring the knees in. Just give yourself a rock from side to side. Just starting to notice and feel how different parts of the body feel, how the hips are, how the lower back is, and just remembering to take it carefully, take it at your own pace. Every time you come to practice is different. We all have had different days. Some of us really busy. Maybe some of us are ready to move. We've sat still all day, whereas others might have been on the go and need something more gentle. So take what you need. From that, just cross one shin over the other. Give yourself a rock up to a seat and then just swing it all the way over. So come over with the hands, step back with the knees and find all fours. Hands spread down. You can see between the fingers. Pull in through the waist, arch and round through the spine, pulling the chin into the chest and actually touching the chin to the chest. And then inhale, look forwards, opening across the chest. Feel that stretch through the front of the body. Arch and round. Each round of breath, each round of movement, that gets bigger. So as you look forwards, there's more of a stretch, not only more of a stretch through the front, but more strength through the back and arch and round. So use the breath, take it forwards as you inhale, lift the chest, open through the front of the body. Exhale, arch and round, close through the front body, stretch and open through the back body. Inhale forwards. And exhale, arch and round. Take one more forwards. And then arch and round. Neutral through the spine. So just flatten out those two extremes, settle somewhere in the middle, pulling in through the waist. So pull in through the lower abdominals. Think about pulling away from the waistband of the trousers, toes tucked. Keep that engagement through the center of the body. Lift back into downward facing dog. Lengthening down through the backs of the heels, pulling in through the waist, rooting down through the hands. So really push into the hands. And feel the arms lengthen and stretch. Feel the shoulders open. Feel the back of the neck relax. Take a nice big breath in. And a big long breath out. Nice big breath in. And big long breath out. Bend and soften both knees. Walk them towards the hands. Walk the feet in. So come and rest in that forward fold. See how easy you can just let the body pour forwards. So let gravity take over. Let gravity pull the shoulders forwards, pull the upper body forwards. You're just trusting yourself to let that weight tip into the toes, into the front half of the feet. And then from there, pushing down into the hands, curling up, rolling up through the spine, taking your time, not rushing, nice and slow. Rolling up to standing. Interlace the hands behind the lower back, reach the knuckles back behind you. And then we've not done this for a while, but bring your knuckles to the left hip. So slide them into that left hip and then pull the right shoulder down and let the neck side bend over. So you're coming to the same side as the knuckles and you're trying to pull that right shoulder away. So it should feel quite a strong stretch into the side of the neck. I can't see who it is name-wise in the grey tank that's baggy, but your head's going the wrong way. I can't actually see your head. I think it's Alison, judging from, yeah, whoever it is has adjusted. Judging from your room. I can't see everyone's body, but I can see your room. Okay, and then go other side. So knuckles come to the right hip and head leans over to the right. So you open that left side of the neck. It's a little bit of an awkward one, but actually when you get that stretch into the side of the neck, the top of the shoulder, you'll feel that you're in the right place. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. And then come back to center. Release both hands, just give them a shake and step the feet together. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. And then inhale, bend the knees, sit down into a chair. So pulling in through the waist and squeezing from the knees to the pelvis. So really think, squeeze knees, pull in through the inner thighs and then pull in through the waist. Like I'm tightening a corset that you're wearing. So you're really pulling everything in. Lauren, less of a curve in your back, tuck the tailbone under. Yeah. Reach the arms up and out. Back of the neck lengthens, so back of the neck nice and long. Take a full inhale. And then full exhale, bring the hands into prayer heart center. We're not going to bind, we're just going to rotate the upper body over to the left. So spin the chest so it faces the left side of the room. Don't need to take that right elbow down, we're just rotating the chest. Inhale back to center. And exhale, spin to the right. So still strong through the legs. Once more each side. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Should feel it in the legs. Inhale to center. And exhale to the right. Inhale to center, stand tall, reach the arms up to the sky and slightly lean back. So open through the hips, open through the chest. And then let the body fold all the way forwards. Hands come down to the floor and just give the head a bit of a shake from side to side. Relax that out, pouring the weight forwards again into the feet, the front half of the feet. So let the heels slightly lift. You could just slide a piece of paper underneath the heels. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up to the sky. So open the chest to the right side of the room. Depending how the hamstrings feel, right leg might straighten That might be too tight. You might want to keep both knees bent. You're reaching up through those right fingertips. And then slowly bring the right hand down. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Start to straighten the left leg, maybe, if that feels okay. If not, just straighten it a little. It doesn't have to go all the way. And then bring it back down. Both hands to the floor, relax the head. Step back into downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Forwards to a plank position. From that plank, one straight, strong line from the ankles to the hips, to the shoulders. Lower it down in one line. So don't let the chest or the hips fall first. The whole body meets the floor at the same time. Point the toes. Inhale, lift the chest. Squeeze the shoulders back and down. Exhale, lower the chest to the floor. Either bend your knees and make your own way back, or if you want something stronger, tuck the toes and lift back through a plank position. So reverse the process and into downward facing dog. Take a big inhale and a big exhale. Do that once more. So roll the body forwards, pulling the waist in. Find that straight, strong line. And then slowly lower down. Whole body meets the floor at the same time. So don't drop the chest first or the hips. Find the floor, point the toes, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulders. Feel that pinch between the shoulder blades. Exhale, lower down. Either bend the knees, tuck the toes and go back via all fours, or push to a plank. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Shake it out around the neck. Loosen off, especially around the jaw. Sometimes grip through the jaw, we don't even realize. So just let that area soften. Take your right leg up to the sky. Reach that right leg high. Bend the right knee. Open the right hip slightly to the right side of the room. So feel that stretch through the right thigh. And then as you're doing that, push the left heel down too. Long stretch through the inside of the left leg. Push into both hands, lengthen the arms. Right knee comes into the chest and step that right foot forwards. Keep the back knee lifted, high lunge, sweep the arms up to the sky. So long stretch through that back leg. Soften the back knee slightly, just so it's not so harsh through the lower back, a little bit more space. Breathe in and breathe out, move that left hip forwards. Breathe in and breathe out. Try and make yourself go a bit lower on the exhale, so you do move a bit with the breath in and out. Breathe in and out. Both hands down to the floor. Keep the back knee lifted. Take the left hand out just a little wider and reach the right arm up to the sky. So you've got more space across the chest, across the arms. You can stay here in the twist, or you can let the outside edges of the feet twist, or twist the feet so you're on the outside edges, toes point to the right. I don't know if I've made that clear enough. And it's not very easy for me to show you really, but my toes are both turning to the right side of the room, and I'm trying to lengthen that right side waist. So it's easy to then squash this right side. I want to keep it nice and long, reaching the right arm up. If that really doesn't come across Zoom very well, then just stay in your twist, reaching up through the right fingertips. Right hand down. Turn the left toes out and open up into warrior two. Across the arms. I can't remember if that feet twist thing was what I mentioned on Saturday when I taught in real life, and I realized no one knew what I was on about. So there's a couple of things that I've been like, oh, so no one's been doing that then. Bend more into that right knee. Flip the right palm, reach and reverse. Big stretch through the right side to stay low in the right thigh. And then bring it forwards back into warrior two. Straighten the right leg. Turn the right toes in and forward fold, take it down, hands to the floor.
Pour the body weight forwards. Hands are there to catch you, so you're not going to fall. Lift the hips. And move forwards. Forwards and down. Breathe in. And breathe out. Soften the knees, a slight bend. Sweep the hands around. Just hold for the outside of the ankles and pull yourself into the fold. Use your arm strength. Use your grip strength. Pull, really pull for 3 and 2. On 1, slowly let that go. Hands beneath the face. Straighten the arms so the spine will lengthen, crown of the head will stretch forwards. Left hand stays down, right arm reaches up to the sky. So there's a rotation through the body. Lift the right arm up. Now just square off the hips again. So what you might find is that your left hip has kind of moved and come underneath the body. Take the left hip back to where it started and let the movement come truly through the spine, not the hips. So imagine there's someone or a teacher holding onto a hip so they can't move. It's just the upper body that moves. Bring that right hand down. So maybe better to imagine it from the start. So imagine someone's got hold of your hips now so they can't move at all. Sweep the left arm up to the sky and open, and you'll feel like you can't go so far. But the twist is more true through the spine. And then slowly bring that down. Walk your hands over to the right foot and just rest your left knee to the floor. And then straighten the right leg, so wriggle the right toes a bit further forwards and pull the right toes back. So you have a straight line through that right leg. Pull in through the waist. So just notice that you're not here and then just kind of dropping. There is this activation and support around the lower back. You can bring both hands inside of that right foot if you like, and for a change, see if you can stretch a bit further forwards. Bow the head in. Let the head sit between the arms. Soft through the back of the neck. Holding here for 3 and 2 and 1. Keep the back knee down. Place both hands down, and you're just going to take that right leg out to the side and then kick the right leg back behind you. So you have 3 points of contact with the right leg driving back. I hit the wall, so I'm just going to come a bit further forwards. Driving that right leg back, pulling in through the waist. And then take your left arm forwards, opposite arm, opposite leg, big inhale. Big exhale, reach forwards, kick back, pull in through the center of the body. Hold that strong. Lift the hand an inch higher and lift the foot an inch higher. And just find that work in a diagonal line across the back of the body. So it goes from the left shoulder diagonally across to the right hip. And then slowly bring the left hand down. Bring the right knee down. Tuck both toes and travel back into downward facing dog. Lengthen through the backs of the legs. Going to do a vinyasa, but just hover your right toes off the floor. So still in a downward facing dog position, I'm just holding that right foot off the floor. Bring your body forwards to a plank. Still got the right toes off the floor. And then I'm going to lower all the way down. Right toes are still off the ground, still off the ground. Body comes down. And then point both toes. Inhale, lift the chest, open the chest. And then exhale, take the chest back to the floor. Push back to hands and knees. And then from there, toes tuck. Take it back into downward facing dog. Have a pedal through the feet. Give the head a shake. Nod yes. And sign no. And then I'm just going to spin around. You can stay where you are. I'm just going to do this so it's easier for me to see you. Sweep the left leg high. Bend the left knee and open the left hip. I don't know if I really need to tell you every time I spin round, but what I don't want you to do is then look up and think, oh, I need to move. And then pull that left knee into the chest. Step the left foot forwards. Rise up, high lunge. So find your high lunge. Soften slightly through that back knee so it's not forced. When you force that back leg straight, it's fine if you've got the space in your hip, but if not, it just comes into the lower back. So slight softness, still loads of stretch through that right hip. So you're not losing out on anything. Breathing all the way in. Breathing all the way out. One more big breath. And then exhale, both hands down to the floor. Take your right hand out slightly wider, so maybe just off your mat, maybe half and half. Reach the left arm up to the sky. Open across the chest. Reach the left fingertips up, and then if you want to, if it makes sense and you understand what I'm on about, twist onto the outside edges of your feet. And you'll feel that's going to give you a stretch around the hips. I want you to keep this left side of the waist long, reaching up through the fingers. Big breath in. Big breath out. If you're staying in a twist, just reaching those left fingertips up and back. Concentrate on the space across the front of the body. Slowly back down to the floor with both hands. You're turning those right toes out now. Get ready for warrior two. Bend in the left knee. Windmill up and out. Arms open wide. Tuck the tailbone under, pull the waist in. So avoid the reverse where you stick it out. Pull under, and you have this strength pulling in, and arms are out wide as they can. So there's this continuous stretch out through the arms. Flip the front palm, reach and reverse. Big stretch, sit into that left knee. The temptation is to come out of the intensity. Try and stay in it. And then back to warrior two. Straighten the left leg. Spin the left toes in and let the body come forwards. All the way down. Shorten the stance a little between the feet. So just make it a little shorter. So there's further for you to come down. Then hold opposite elbows and drop the weight of the body forwards. What I want you to avoid is touching the floor, because if you get to the floor, then you've nowhere to go. Most of you might be thinking that's all right because I'm a long way from the floor, but you can always make it harder by just shortening the distance between the feet. So then you've got more room to lengthen the spine. Take a long, deep breath. And then a big sigh out. One more long, deep breath. And sigh out. Hands beneath the face. Just walk your hands over to the instep of your left foot. You're turning and resting the right knee to the floor. Point the right toes back. And then straighten the left leg. So just shimmy the left foot forwards a little, and then you can straighten. Pull in around the waist. You're pulling in, you're strong there. Just be careful. I'm going to do what I don't want you to do. Be careful you're not sat back right over that heel. I want you to keep the hip over the knee. And then that left leg is the straight leg. Pulling the toes back to the face. Relaxing the back of the head. Maybe both hands stretch away from you, so you have this real length. Not only through the back of the leg, but through the spine, around the backs of the shoulders. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Take one more. And then exhale, walk the hands back in. Take that left leg out to the side. Your right knee stays down, just simply kicking that left leg back. So when you kick back, you've got the engagement through the hamstring and the glute, and then the opposite arm, so the right arm stretches forwards. Hold that and lengthen. So continuously stretch. Lift the hand a bit higher, lift the foot a bit higher. Notice that gets slightly harder. And then rest the right hand down. Rest the left knee down, back into downward facing dog. So lifting up through the hips. Have a good move around through the feet. And then that 3-leg vinyasa that we did on the other side. So your left toes just hover off the floor. Bring the body forwards to a plank position. And then from that plank position, lower all the way down to the ground. Rest both feet down. Inhale, lift the chest, draw the shoulders back. And exhale, let it go. Push back into a child's pose. So we're just bending into the knees, taking the hips all the way back to the heels and resting the forehead to the floor. If you want to just widen the gap between the knees and the thighs, makes it a bit more comfy to come into a nice wide child's pose. Resting through the forehead. And rest through the hands and the arms as well. So try to avoid kind of like being tense through the arms and the wrists. Sometimes we try and hold them off the floor, but really try and sink into the mat. A bit like that first time you led down in your practice this evening and you were led on your back. Think about wherever there is contact with the floor, you're pouring the body weight into that space. So through the hands, forearms, elbows, chest press down into the thighs. The belly pushes into the thighs. Hips settle back. We're here for 3. And 2. One more big breath. Use the hands, so spread the fingers out before you come up. I want you to really push into the hands and pull back through the palms. So as you come up, should be quite active through the arms and the shoulders, rising to all fours. Toes tuck, take it back, downward facing dog. Big inhale and big exhale. Big breath in and big breath out. Take your right leg high to the sky, reaching that right heel up. Just notice if you're opening the right hip to the right side of the room, close it down so that the right hip, the kneecap, faces down to the floor. So if I was to look from the side, I'd look through your hips and both hips would be in one line. So you might not be able to go as high with the foot, but there's better alignment through the lower back. Bring that right knee into the chest and step your right foot forwards. Inhale, rise up, high lunge. Breathe in. Breathe out, left arm forwards, right arm back, so that twist across the body. Take your right hand like you're sliding it into a pocket on the back of your trousers. Reach the left arm up to the sky and slightly back bend. So you have to trust yourself to open through that left hip. It doesn't have to be this huge movement, but there's just a really long stretch then all the way through that left side of the body. And then reverse that release through high lunge to warrior 2. Right arm forwards, left arm back, left toes turn out. Left myself facing away from you here, but that's all right. Bend more into that right knee. Flip the right palm. Reach and reverse. Open through the right side of the body. And then your right hand is going to come all the way down to the instep of the right foot. And the left arm lifts, first of all, up to the sky. And then the arm stretches overhead. So that left side of the body is lengthening. One long straight line from the outside of the left foot, through the left hip, through the left shoulder, to the left fingertips. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly bring both hands down to the floor. Rest the left knee down. Point the left toes back And inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Hands into prayer. Take a twist, left elbow outside of right thigh. Hold that twist. Really drive down into the left arm to spiral the chest open. Try and make space around the ears, so kind of lengthen the neck. Make sure you're not squashing the shoulders to the ears. Breathe here for 3. As you exhale, try and go a bit deeper. For 2. And 1. Look back to the floor. Take both hands down inside of the right foot. You can keep your back knee down if you like, or you can tuck the toes and lift the back knee off the floor, or you can rest to your forearms. Let the head and the neck relax. So the biggest thing here, do avoid the temptation to look forwards. Rest the back of your neck. Breathing in and breathing out. If you want something more active, if you want it to be a bit stronger, then those left toes are tucked and that left leg is straight. But still plenty of a stretch without the need to lift that back knee if you want to take it slightly easier. And breathe deep. We spoke about this maybe last week or the week before, but if there's a really intense stretch through the front of the hip, that's okay. Try not to back off from it. Instead, just breathe and try and think about the intensity of that stretch spreading out. So it's not quite as specific or as maybe painful is probably the word for some of the stretches. You want to let that ease and soften. Here for 3. And 2. On 1, slowly rise up to both hands. Take your right knee back next to the left knee, so both hands, both knees. Keep the toes pointing away, so the feet are flat on the floor, the top of the feet are flat on the floor. Pull in through the lower abdominals, so really draw inwards and upwards through the abdominals, and then push into the top of the feet and lift the knees. And you're just going to go through that a couple of times. So rest the knees, relax, pull the abdominals in and lift. Rest the knees, relax, pull in through the abdominals and lift. 2 more, rest, relax through the waist, pull in and then lift. Last one, and relax and lift. From there, you might be able to step back into downward facing, or you can rest both knees and come back down first. Pushing into the hands. Take a nice big breath in. If you like, sigh that breath out. 1 more maybe, all the way in. And sigh the breath out. Your left leg. Lift it high to the sky without opening the hip. So the hip stays facing down to the floor. Sometimes think the hip though means all the way round, doesn't it? So think about the kneecap still facing down to the ground, not turning out to the side. And then pull that knee into the chest, step the foot forwards, rise up, high lunge, reach the arms to the sky. So you're opening through that right hip, right thigh. Maybe a softness, doesn't need to be forced straight. Right arm forwards, left arm back. This kind of twist, we do it quite a lot. You're going to find it quite hard if the feet are really narrow. So if you're on a tightrope kind of line, it's going to be quite hard. Give yourself some space. And then inhale to center. Exhale, warrior 2. Arms out wide. So reach them even wider, really lengthen and stretch. Flip the front palm. Don't let that thigh lift. Take it up and back. So make that left thigh work. Open through the left side waist. Exhale, left hand down to the instep, or a block if you have it. Right arm up to the sky, and then over. So it's kind of easier and harder at the same time. If you bend into that left knee more, makes it easier to maneuver through the upper body. Does mean the stretch is more intense. One long straight line from the outside of the right foot through the right knee, right hip, right shoulder, fingertips, and then bring the right hand down. Rest the right knee to the floor, point the toes, and lift all the way up. That right knee is still really grazed, so I can't actually lean on the kneecap itself. Hands into prayer and take a twist, right elbow outside of your left thigh, and then pull that left shoulder back. Maybe small clicks or pops through the spine as you really take it into a nice full twist, using the breath. So the exhale gives you a bit more space, takes you further into that rotation. And then you're going to rise up with the arms, reach the arms up to the sky. We missed this out when we were standing before, so we'll do it here instead. Take your right arm forwards, your left arm back. Take the left hand to the back of your trousers like you're sliding them in to a pocket, and then you're going to reach that right arm up to the sky. So you really open through the right hip. Big breath. And exhale. Windmill both hands down inside of the left foot. And then come into that lizard stretch. So you either staying on the back knee, or you're tucking the back toes and lifting the back knee off the floor. Whatever you're doing, just make sure the gaze is relaxed, the back of the neck is relaxed, and you're just pouring the body weight forwards through the hips, so slowly opening and lengthening through that right thigh. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Thinking about the intensity of the stretch if it's there, and you want to try and soften, spread out that intensity. Breathe. One more breath. And exhale. Come back to the hands. Take your left knee back next to the right knee, hands and knees. Arch them round through the spine. And then take it forwards, open the chest. So just see if there's more room than there was when you started the practice, when we did this early on. Arch them round. It doesn't have to be perfectly uniform. So if you want to go a little to the side, or maybe a bit further forwards, and then a bit further back, you can do so. Just explore how much more movement you have now compared to the start of practice. And just making sure that you feel both sides are fairly evenly stretched or mobilized. And then when you're ready, tuck the toes and take it back into downward facing dog, lengthening away through the heels, pushing into the hands. Take a nice big breath in and a nice big breath out. Walk your feet and your hands together, coming to the middle of the mat, and let the body fold forwards. And we haven't done this for ages, what we're going to do now. So you're going to push all the weight into your left foot. From that forward fold, you're going to hold on underneath the right foot, and you're going to really slowly roll up through the spine, bringing that right knee with you. So you're really slowly rolling up. If it's too much, you can then bring the hands to the knee, or you can stay holding onto the foot. If you're holding the knee,
You're going to lift yourself up nice and tall. If you're holding onto the foot, you might like to kick and stretch the right foot away. Depends how the hamstrings feel. Knee or foot. From wherever you are, we're just going to slowly take it back down, really carefully and slowly, whether it's the knee or the foot. But don't actually rest it to the floor. Before you get there, place your hands down, kick the right leg back behind you. So you're balancing on the left leg, reaching the right leg back, relaxing the head. Pour the weight into that left foot. Imagine someone's just lifting your right foot a little bit higher. They're encouraging you to take that right foot just a fraction higher. And then both feet step together. We'll do one roll up without holding onto a foot. So just curl up and roll up through the spine. And then you can give both arms and both legs a little bit of a shake. And then we'll go back, chin into chest, control the movement through the spine, working on having space and mobility between each of the spinal segments so that there isn't restriction or stress when one doesn't move. That's what we're trying to do every time we roll up and down. We're trying to get better at controlling and improving the movement through the spinal column, resting into that. And then we take it to the other side. So your weight and effort is through the right foot. Your left hand, your right hand, both hands go underneath the left foot. Sometimes I do that and I'm like, you're saying the wrong thing. Roll up to standing, bring that left knee in. Slowly come up. It's quite a lot of tension through the right leg to bring you up. Now, if you want to, if you get to about halfway and you need to transition, take the hands to the knee, then you do that. If they're okay beneath the foot, you might then kick the foot away from you. Just keep it forwards and gaze forwards. We're only taking 2 breaths before we roll back down. So then you bring it in, you slowly roll down. A lot of strength through the right standing leg. Before the toes find the floor, the hands come down, and then we kick that right leg back behind us. Body pulls forwards. Left leg lifts. Lift it higher than you lifted the right foot. So really try and lift. 3, lift 2, 1, and both feet down. Just widen the gap between the feet. So just spread them out on the mat. So you can fold the body forwards and just give a rock from side to side. So a sway, a rock, whatever movement you need to. Just rock from side to side. Big breath in. Big sigh out. And then just come down and have a seat. So just bring yourself all the way down. Soles of the feet together. Knees out wide. Hold on to the front of the ankles. Big inhale, lift through the chest. Really try and pull the shoulders back. And then exhale, lean the body forwards. Nice and warm through the legs and the hips. So take advantage of that and really try and push yourself into that stretch, into that forward fold. I don't mean push like force anything, but you are very warm, or I would imagine you're warm through the hips. So use that as a chance to kind of wriggle a bit deeper into the stretch. Keep the right arm down. Just take the left arm up to the sky and open your chest to the left side of the room. So whilst you're leaning forwards, just a bit more stretch through the left. And then bring it down. And we do the same over to the right. You might not feel like you achieve that much, but small stretch will come into the lower back. Bring it down. Go once more each side with the breath. So inhale, lift the left arm, open the chest to the left side of the room.
Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, right arm lifts, chest opens. Exhale, bring it down. And then slowly walk the hands back in. Take the hands to the outside of the thighs, close the gap between the knees, plant the feet to the floor. And you're going to take the hands down by the side, push into the hands, push into the feet, lift the hips to the sky. So one straight line, really tuck the tailbone under and pull the navel back in. Even if you feel like that makes you drop a bit, get that position into the lower back, and then you can drive into the feet and lift the hips. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Rest the hips down. Reach the arms to the top of the mat, to the front of the room. Pull the belly in. The first part of the movement is the tailbone tucking under. Then the lower back rolls to the floor. And then slowly we work our way up the spine. But it's slow, it's strong. Lauren Harris, you just fell down then a lot quicker than you can do. Roll all the way back, arms overhead. Interlace the hands, stretch the heels of the hands away, reach the toes out, point the toes, one long line through the body. And then let that go. Bring the arms down by the side and bring both legs up to the sky. So it's okay if there's a little bend or a softness in the knees. You just want to squeeze the ankles together. And you're going to start drawing small circles. Start really small, tiny, tiny circles. If you want for a bit more stability, you can just widen the arms out to the side. And then with each circle, let the circle get a bit bigger. So for the first few times, you won't feel it. And then you'll notice that as that circle gets bigger, actually takes a bit more control through the inner thighs and the lower abdominals to make sure you don't fall. So we want to avoid dropping the legs to the side. You're seeing how big you can control and make those circles. Go for 3 more in this direction. Okay, and then pause at the top. Just reverse, same size, so nice big circle. And the nice thing is as well, we're doing an exercise with no pressure on the ankles or the knees. It's almost like the benefits of an inversion. And then you slowly let those circles get smaller. Don't rush. Try and be as careful as you were when you were making the circles bigger to start with. Sometimes it's easy to rush when we're on the home straight. Try not to. Go for at least another 5. And 4. Pulling in through the waist. And 3. And 2. And 1. Bend the knees. Take the hands to the back of the head. Just lift the head, neck, shoulders off the floor. Pull the waist in. Extend the right leg. Hover just off the ground. Bring the right knee in. Extend the left leg. Hover just off the ground. And bring in. Pull the waist, navel to spine. We go for 6. Bring in. 5. Bring in. Keep lifted. 4. In. And 3. In. And 2. In. Last one. In. Plant both feet down, arms down by the side. Lift the hips up towards the sky. So drive the hips up. We want to find strength through the glutes and the hamstrings, but also a nice long opening through the front of the hips. If you want to, you can interlace the fingers. If you do that and you're reaching the knuckles down, you have to kind of rock from side to side on the shoulders so you can wriggle the shoulder blades a little bit closer. So my upper arms are taking the weight, the pressure, trying to reach my knuckles down towards my heels, stretching the knees away, lifting the hips, so making that space, filling that space as much as you can. And then let that go. Roll it down to the floor. Take your time. Pull in through the waist as you massage the spine down. And then rest. Just cactus the arms out to the side. And lift both feet up to the sky, not for an exercise, but just to let the pressure from the ankles and the knees drain. Same as placing your feet up the wall, sometimes in a yoga class, but I don't know how many of you are near an open wall space, so we'll just stay here. Relax heavy through the back of the shoulders, through the elbows, through the backs of the hands, all the way through the lower back to the hips. Feel the weight draining from the legs down to the hips, to the sacrum. So there's a lightness through the feet, through the toes, around the ankles. Maybe even wriggle the toes and the ankles a little. Wriggle and mobilize. Maybe rolling circles into the ankles. And then take them the other way. Point and flex maybe. And then just let the feet find the floor, knees bent. Knees fall out to the side. You can keep the arms out wide if you like, or bring the hands back and place them on the belly. If you're not so comfortable with the knees like this, then you can extend the legs and come into Shavasana. Breathe all the way in. A really loud sigh out. So really let that breath go. 2 more like that, all the way in. All the way out. Big breath. And then sigh out. Settling in the same way we did at the start of the practice, allowing the back of the body to be heavy and allowing a space and openness across the heart through the hips, through the front of the body. The reverse of how we spend most of our day when we're crouching behind a laptop, behind a desk. We let the shoulders drop forwards. Here we can just let gravity pull the shoulders back, remind us to open. Soften the expression. Scan your body from the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. Noticing how it feels. Just kind of appreciating that you've made the time to come and practice. And not only for your physical body, but for your mind, to give yourself an hour to yourself without the busyness of everything that's going on in your day, in the world. Just your own hour of moving meditation. And with that, just take your hands to the outside of the thighs. If your legs are outstretched, bend the knees. We'll all pull the knees in, so you give yourself a really big hug. Squeezing the knees in as much as you can. So really compress in through the front of the body, then a gentle rock side to side. We did this as well at the start of the practice, so maybe you feel like you can get the knees in a bit closer now. And then either roll to your side and come up to a seat from that side lying position, or just cross the legs and roll all the way up. Sit nice and tall, hands onto the knees. Just lengthen and lift all the way up through the spine. Shoulders draw back, shoulders settle down. And then big breath in, reach the arms up to the sky, lift them nice and tall. Hands come together, and then just bring that into your chest, into prayer heart center. And as we did
just when we were lying down, thanking yourself for making the time to practice or acknowledging your efforts in coming to practice. Have a lovely Thursday evening, and I will see I'll see you virtually tomorrow morning. Other than that, who knows when, but see you soon just came out.